MRI screenings are going to be some of the hardest sessions for new interpreters because of their highly technical language and all of the jargon that they use. But don't worry, because today I'm gonna dive into 8 more terms number 19 through 26 of this MRI Questionnaire series.
Tune in as Interpret Your World's co-founder, Juan Prieto, talks about the highlights of his workday as a professional medical video remote interpreter. If you are aspiring to learn something new and gain insights into what the world of medical interpretation is really like, then you've come to the right place. Follow along as Juan talks not only about his success, but the daily challenges he has to overcome to become a better interpreter each and every day. This is Unwind Sessions with Juan Prieto.
Hello guys, how is everybody doing today? Today is Tuesday, September 14, 2021, and before I dive into how many calls I took today, I want to let you guys know that I am very excited because we are finally starting to post on TikTok some new content, so go ahead and check that out. And this content is designed to help you practice your vocabulary knowledge, right? So basically is just a little video of me or Carla, and we're gonna get Adrian to do it too, I promise you guys. So we're gonna be doing like 6 videos a day for TikTok, just very short 15-second videos where we ask you if you know how to say a certain word in English. For example, our first video is enamel, and I'm gonna spoil this for you. So I would ask, and actually I am the one that asks, I ask, do you know how to, well, surprise medical interpretation quiz, do you know how to say enamel in Spanish? And I give you a little bit of time, and then I say esmalte. And then I do it again, and then I say it in Spanish this time. I ask you in Spanish, and I give you the word in English. So we thought this would be nice, word by word, because that way, and they will be easily identified. When you go to our page, you will see the little thumbnail, and you will see they will say vocabulary Spanish, vocabulary English, medical vocabulary, or regular vocabulary. We are going to differentiate. That way you guys can get more practice, and if you just look at the things, you can just press the videos randomly, you know, and that way you will never get the same, well, you will get the same question twice, right? But it'll be harder, and it'll be random every time because you're going to be picking a different video every time. So we thought that it would be a little nice. We thought that would be awesome for people to go ahead and practice their vocabulary. So go check that out. Remember, we are in TikTok. The link will always be in the description on all of our videos, so check that out, guys. Let us know what you think. I hope my great brilliant idea is also great and brilliant for you. All right, so now that you know that we are on TikTok, let's get started. So you already know the date. Today I took 20 sessions, 3 of which were audio only, and that was it. 20 sessions, that was a little bit of sessions, and honestly this day flew by rather quickly, and I didn't seem like 20 sessions. I don't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you how many sessions I think I took, but definitely more than 20. And there were a couple of audio sessions where I was there for a while. I didn't sleep that well last night, so I wasn't really paying much attention to all of the details, but apparently it was a pretty easy day. All right, lucky for me. And before I get into the highlights, as you already know, we are still accepting comments for MIP 21. We are trying to get that video to 100 likes. When it gets to 100 likes, actually before that, we're gonna give you a chance to comment on MIP 21 until it reaches 100 likes. When it reaches 100 likes, we're gonna pick 2 of those comments at random. We're gonna send the people who those comments belong to special links exclusive links to MIP 22. That way they can record their interpretations to MIP 22, send them over to us, and we can provide them with some feedback to help them improve their interpretation. So hurry up, guys. We only have 40 likes, so that means there are still 60 more likes to go. Plenty of time to go and drop a comment. Every comment will be respected. All right, and also remember, guys, that we have a Patreon page where with as little as just $1 of your support, you help to support and motivate us to create much more content, and we give you access to everything on that page just for as little as $1. You are not limited to $1. You can donate all that you want. And what do you get for that $1 donation? You get medical interpretation practice videos ad-free, yes, the ones from this channel, scripts, answer sheets, vocabulary list, and much more content. And most importantly, you will forever win a place inside of our heart. So get on that, guys. The price is not going to be that cheap forever, so I would suggest you go right there now and get all of that great stuff for just $1. It's insane. Get your Patreon. I didn't even know what to say. I just wanted to say something funny. Hopefully I made you laugh. I made myself laugh. That's all good, right? All right, so now for the highlights, I have how many? 3 highlights today. So for the first highlight, it is the word askew, and the Spanish translation for it could either be incorrect, torcido, or ladeado. Right? So for me, whenever anybody said askew, I thought it was something that's crooked. You know, it's askew, like a little crooked, a little side bent, I don't know. Just that is, in my mind, whenever somebody says askew, that is what I think. All right, but this time it was a little bit different. It was during an initial visit to counseling, to like mental health, and they asked the lady a question, but no, wait, I'm confusing stuff. No, this was like a PT session. And then they asked the lady how long has she been in pain, but the lady had been in pain like almost her whole life. So the therapist said, oh, this question is askew for you. And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, so this is a twisted question? This is a crooked question? It didn't make sense. So I had to look it up. And I looked it up, and it turns out that askew also means wrong. So let me give you the definition from Google. It says not in a straight or level position. And second definition, it means wrong. So I learned something today. I did not know that askew meant wrong. So I'm gonna be using that forever now. You are askew. That is not the way that you interpret that. That is an askew interpretation, right? So don't be surprised if you hear the word askew much more often. All right, and for another highlight is that I had a depression screening today. And you know how on the video for depression screening, I tell you that they usually give the 4 answers, right? What is it? I forgot. Every day, almost every day, nearly every day, or not at all, or some days, something like that. They use a variant, but this time they didn't. It was just straight free answer. So it was pretty easy, and then the lady spoke some English, so it was a pretty easy session. I just wanted to let you know about this highlight because I mentioned in the other one that I think I said that they always give you the multiple answer questions, but no, it's not true. I'm sorry. Most of the time they do, but there are going to be times where they don't. And for the last highlight, this has nothing to do with interpreting, but more with those crazy things that happen. So I was sitting there, I introduced myself to the patient, I introduced myself to the provider, And then it turns out she was a nurse, and she said, all right, can you just give me a moment? I'm gonna tell the doctor that you are ready for her. And I said, of course. And then the lady looked directly into the camera of the device, and then she said this, doctor, the patient and the interpreter are ready for you. And then I was looking at her, and I'm wondering in my head, why is she looking at me? And why does she think I'm the doctor? What's going on? So obviously another thought that came into my head, I'm like, well, the doctor has already come in, right? Or the doctor is waiting right outside. But no, the nurse went out, and then she said, the doctor will come in a while. And then I was like, okay. So I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if the doctor came in and then she left, I'm sorry, or if she was using telepathy, you know, but well, spoken telepathy. I don't know if that even makes sense. I would have to see, but whatever. I mean, it was just very, very, very weird. And then the doctor just came in later, so I don't know. I never saw the lady like press a button on their cell phone that they have or anything. Like, how was she communicating with the doctor? So I am left clueless as to what was going on there, and it was just very weird. I guess you had to be there. All right, so that is all of the highlights that I have today. And let's get started with this list. All right, remember it's only 8 words, or 8 terms, I should say. All right, now I need to give you a little explanation for this. Now, the word number 19 is Portacav. This is a brand name. Portacav, I have to explain this, and the way to say it in Spanish, or actually in English, is an implantable central venous access port, and in Spanish is dispositivo de acceso. Wait, dispositivo de acceso. Hold on, what's going on? Yes, dispositivo de acceso venoso central implantable. Now that's a mouthful, right? So before I give you the definition, let me do the explanation. So Portacav, this is a brand name. So you are going to have to be careful there. And this is jargon. Like, this is like term for just medical professionals. And this is a brand name. Okay, so why am I saying this? Well, it so happens that the Portacav company made a product that was so well made and so good that that whenever they refer to this type of, what was it, an implantable central venous access port, they call it a Portacav. Like, for example, Kleenex. You know, Kleenex was like, I don't know if it was the first, but it was like the best brand, right? There's some people that call tissue paper, they call it Kleenex. So this is the same thing. Whenever someone says a Portacav, they are gonna be speaking about the brand or about implantable central venous access port. So you have to be careful about that. And let me give you a little backstory about this term. When I interpreted this, of course, I looked it up, and Portacav, and I saw the brand name, and I have always been leaving it the same. They say Portacav, I say Portacav in Spanish, and I just realized that that is wrong, because that's like saying Kleenex, right? But what if they tell you you need, well, if they told you you need a tissue paper, and then you interpret you need some Kleenex, right? That's not correct. The person might understand you, and they might get a tissue paper, not necessarily Kleenex, man, but it is not a correct interpretation, okay? So be careful, guys, and don't make the mistake I did. And after today, I am never going to interpret Portacav as Portacav anymore, unless they're talking about the brand name, right? If they say you need a Portacav brand catheter, then yeah, necesita un catéter de marca Portacav, right? So be careful with that, guys. And I just realized about that there's another one on this list, but the other one I had never heard of. but I'm still gonna mention it to you. So what is it? A portacath or an implantable central venous access port is a device used to draw blood and give treatments including intravenous fluids, blood transfusions, or drugs such as chemotherapy and antibiotics. The port is placed under the skin, usually in the right side of the chest. It is attached to a catheter, a thin flexible tube that is threaded into a large vein above the right side of the heart called the superior vena cava. The needle is inserted through the skin into the port to draw blood or give fluids and other treatments. A portacath may stay in place for many weeks, months, or years, also called the port. So this is basically a port, right? But this is a very special type of port, right? This is not just any port, like for example, just like regular port. This is an implantable central venous access port. So that goes into the superior vena cava, because remember that the vena cava is one of the largest veins in the body. Well, the largest vein in the body. The superior vena cava, I'm not that certain. I'm pretty sure it's like a branch of it. I'm not sure how big it is, but I'm pretty sure it's big, right? Because it's coming from the biggest vein in the body. So they just put it on there like an IV port, but it has many more uses than well, this is an IV port, than an IV an IV catheter, right? Because this one, like it says in the definition, they can leave it for weeks, months, years, or weeks, months, or years. All right, so number 20, Broviac catheter, and right here in Spanish is catéter. Hold on. Yes, catéter. Let me read it here. It's just that I don't know if I can focus. Catéter de Broviac o catéter venoso central. So in Spanish, it would be a central venous catheter. Did I put that there? Yes. Central venous catheter. So this is the same thing for the Broviac catheter. It turns out that Broviac is a brand name, and they did it so well that the industry now calls it a Broviac catheter. All right. So a Broviac catheter is also referred to as a Broviac line or Broviac central line. These catheters are tubes usually manufactured out of materials like soft silicone or PVC. Broviac catheters, Broviac lines, are tunneled small bore central venous catheters characterized by a variable size. Dacron cuff, which provides an anchorage in subcutaneous tracts as fibrous tissue grows into the interstices of the cuff. The cuff may act as a microbial barrier, although controlled trials have brought some doubt to light regarding this theory. So this is similar to like the portacath, but the difference is this is a tunneled small bore. So it has like a very thin thing, a very thin hole, a very thin thing. I'm sorry. It has a very small hole, and the thickness of the line is variable, so it can be like very thick or very thin. So that's what makes it special and different. And for number 21, this is a PIC line, catheter PIC, or you can also say where is it? Yes, peripherally inserted central catheter. I'm sorry, I'm not able to see very well what I'm pointing. Alright, so catéter central de inserción periférica. So what is a PICC line? A PICC line is a long, thin tube that's inserted through a vein in your arm and passed through the larger veins near your heart. Very rarely, the PICC line may be placed in your leg. So this is another type of line, another type of catheter, but this one goes through the arm or it goes through the leg and it goes to the heart. All right. And for number 23, so here is 23, SWAS GANS catheterization, and or in Spanish it is cateterismo cardíaco derecho de, and then I made a little arrow because I was running out of space. SWAS GANS. Now, is anybody familiar with Gantz, the anime? So I was calling this SWAS GANS. I don't know why, but well, familiar, right? SWAS GANS. So right now, I now know that I've been saying this wrong this whole time. SWAS GANS. It's not SWAS GANS, it's SWAS GANS. So let me tell you what it says. It says SWAS GANS catheterization, also called right heart catheterization or pulmonary artery catheterization. And how would you say that in Spanish? También llamado cateterismo cardíaco derecho o cateterismo de la arteria pulmonar, is the passing of a thin tube, a catheter, into the right side of the heart and the arteries leading to the lungs. It is done to monitor the heart's function and blood flow and pressures in and around the heart. All right, so SWAS GANS is a catheter that it's a procedure. So a catheter is inserted into the heart to be able to measure the blood flow and the pressure inside of the heart, right? Not the blood pressure here that we are used to with a blood pressure cuff. No, the pressure inside of the heart, right from the source, right? Honestly, I have no idea how that helps doctors or why they do this, but I mean, I kind of have an idea, right? If the pressure is whack, then they need to fix it, pretty much. But I am not familiar with that. I have never had the experience to actually be in a session that mentions this. I mean, that treats this, or that this is the main topic, you know, SWAS GANS. So I've never had the pleasure of having such a session, so I am just limited from what I read. All right, number 23, and this one I have no experience with this one either, but I just thought it was very interesting and I had to read some stuff about it. All right, so thermodilution catheters, or catéteres de termodilución. So these are several direct and indirect techniques for measurements of cardiac output are available. The thermodilution technique uses a special thermistor tip catheter, SWAS GANS catheter, that is inserted from a peripheral vein into the pulmonary artery. A cold saline solution of known temperature and volume is injected into the right atrium for proximal catheter port. The injectate mixes with the blood as it passes through the ventricle and into the pulmonary artery, thus cooling the blood. The blood temperature is measured by a thermistor at the catheter tip, which lies in the pulmonary artery, and a computer is used to acquire the thermodilution profile. That is, the computer quantifies the change in blood temperature as it flows to the thermistor surface. All right, so what are they trying to measure here? They are trying to measure the temperature of a liquid that goes into the heart, and it goes into the pulmonary artery to see how much blood is cooled. And I forgot to look up why they do this. I looked up like what it is and how like how it's done, because I couldn't find that much information, but I forgot to know why. Why do they do this, right? I don't know. So I'm gonna owe you that one. So let's move on to number 24. Number 24. And I don't know if you can see that well. Implanted post-surgical hardware. And this is equipo implantable postquirúrgico. And I'm sorry that I didn't have space and I had to go down here. So what is this? And this is my definition and my translation and everything. So this is any type of medical implant that is left inside the body after surgery. For example, pins and rods after somebody breaks their bones, right? And they needed to put some pins, like I remember a friend had to have some pins on his wrist and some rods and stuff. So just pretty much everything that they would leave in there. For example, a clip, an aneurysm clip that could be implanted post-surgical. What else? Well, actually, no, post-surgical. No, I'm sorry. No. That's not. Because it's not implanted post, it's implanted during, right? So for example, like if they need, like they do the surgery, right, and then they need to put like an outside structure or a structure after the surgery, then that is implanted post-surgical hardware. Now some types, I'm going to just give you the definition of two, because that's all that I have time for. So 25 is pins, and in Spanish it's clavos. So this is a slender, elongated piece of metal used for securing fixation of parts. So there is just a pin that is introduced. You can even go into the body or into another piece of metal to make sure that everything just stays in place. And for number 26, I really like this definition because it gives a very, very extensive definition of what rods are, rods and pins. So number 26 is rods. In Spanish, it's varillas. So rods and nails are long cylinders that are made of surgical grade metal, stainless steel, or titanium. These devices are inserted inside the marrow cavity of a long bone like the tibia, femur, humerus, or forearm bones. They are also called intramedullary (IM) devices, as they go inside of the bone. The doctor may interchangeably refer to rods and nails as internal, intramedullary, or IM devices. All right, so rods are, like, for example, if the bone is very badly broken, right, they could then insert a rod inside of the bone, and then they make a hole, they make a rod, and then they just stick, like, this is one side of the bone, they stick a rod in here, and the same rod goes into the other side of the bone, and it is completely fixed. Another way that they can use a rod is they can put the rod on the outside and then fix the rod with some pins. Like, they say this is the bone, right? So they will put it out here. I'm not a doctor, maybe this is completely whack and that's not what it is, but just so you get an idea, okay? So it's out here, let's say in the wrist, right? You cannot move the wrist is broken, so they put two rods up here, and then they might hold it to the bones with some pins, and that way it'll be stabilized and it'll allow it to heal in a perfect manner. But the rods could either be out or they could be in, and the pins could also be out or in. I hope that was a very good explanation for these 8 terms, well, except for thermal dilution catheters, but I will let you know what they are for tomorrow. And that is going to be pretty much it for me today, guys. Please leave your questions in the comments and I will answer some of them on the next session. Remember that if anything is time sensitive, let me know in the comments, that way I can get to your question before the rest of the queue. And I'll be here every Monday through Friday after work. And remember that we love all of our Patreons, we love everyone that has bottles of coffee, we love all of our subscribers, and we love everyone that is watching this video, and you, because you are watching it to the end. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video and have not done so for much more content, and don't forget to share. Happy interpreting. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Unwind Sessions. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. And if you learned something new today, it'd be great if you left us a review. You can also visit us on patreon.com/interpretyourworld or visit our website, interpretyourworld.com. Unwind Sessions.
If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, share this video with other beginner interpreters or anyone who can benefit from this information. Thank you all so much for all the support you guys have given us. This means the world to us. Don't forget, we also have social media. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. We also have an Instagram and the one I love the most, TikTok. We just recently got a Buy Me a Coffee, and also, if you guys didn't already know, we do have a Patreon account. If you guys would like to support us a little more, we'd love to have you guys over there. And as always, I will be posting all the links to these pages down below in the description box. Thanks for watching!